Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. And today, we're talking about the 20 brutal truths about life that no one wants to admit. We got this from an Inc. magazine article by Matthew Jones. This is episode 14. I'm Brian Benson, and next to me is the man who took his Heidelberg education to a whole other level, Mike Stull. Wrote a book, Dominate Your Day. Check it out on michaelstull.com. And he's about to read from it, and we're about to get real deep here.
People do all this complaining and whining about how they don't have this and they don't have that, but yet they aren't willing to hunt for what they truly want in life. They don't have the burning desire for obtaining exactly what they want, but would rather settle for something close to it. No, never settle in life. Go after everything, and I mean everything you desire. Bring those important, close people in your life with you. Destroy everything in your path. Be relentless or be mediocre and fall short of your true potential. You decide. I'm not sticking around to see what happens, though. So either we will be teaming up in the future or you will be competing in the losers bracket. I can't remember number 2. I don't want to remember number 2. You are not number 2.
Man, oh man. Well, that's pretty powerful stuff, guys. And I think that that's going to kind of really lead us perfectly into this. So, the number one brutal truth that no one really wants to admit is you're going to die and you have no idea when.
Yeah, I think people act as if they're not going to die. You know, they act as if they're invincible, and they're kind of taking things for granted, so to speak. So they're not living as if like tomorrow is not promised. So I think that's a major key, is that when you do that, when you start living knowing that you are going to die at some point in time, you take things much more seriously, you reprioritize, and you start structuring your life in many different aspects on a different level. You start taking better care of your relationships, you start putting more effort into business, into your health, into whatever it is your passion is in life.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think when you understand that, it goes back to that tomorrow's not guaranteed kind of thing, and you have to understand that you better do everything you want and live very passionately about everything that you're doing.
Yep, that's right. Number 2, everyone you love is going to die, and you don't know when.
You know, this is that don't burn bridges in relationships. It's like make amends. It's kind of like, you know, tomorrow's another day. Like just like don't burn bridges with people. I just really don't, you know, even if somebody harms you, it's like forgive people and love them for whoever they are and whatever they're doing, you know, because this is you know, it's very it's hard to think that you would regret not saying the things that you wanted to say to certain people, you know, and
Right.
The last thing you would ever want, I think, hanging over your head is like something negative or sad or bad about somebody. I mean, that's maybe a personal opinion.
No, I agree. I mean, I think people want that closure, and you don't want it to be where you truly realize how important and how special that person was until they do indeed pass away. So, you know, you just need to restructure your life, restructure your relationships, and don't take for granted the people around you, especially the ones that are really trying to support you along the way.
Yeah, I mean, take care of the people who take care of you and take care of your circle. You know, I think that's, you know, a big thing. And, you know, for me, that's my family for sure, 100%, yeah. You know, so. All right, number 3, your material wealth won't make you a better or happier person.
I think the first thing that comes to mind on this is there's a show on TLC called The Curse of the Lottery. And basically it shows people who have stumbled across millions and millions of dollars, and a lot of them you know, had trouble in their life, or maybe were into drugs before and they won the lottery, and then they just spent all that money on more drugs and alcohol and put themselves into like a depression. Now, I'm not saying everyone that stumbles across money is going to do that, but what I'm saying is what's already present in your life is only going to be amplified by gaining more money. So if you're happy, you might be even more happy, you know. If you're miserable, it may make you happier, but you have to really focus on improving yourself as an individual, because if that money's stripped away, you're present with what you started with to begin.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems.
No, but I just on that, like there was a study done a while back on like a tribe in the middle of I forget, the rainforest or somewhere in South America, I think. But they studied like I think it was there. I mean, don't quote me on this, but I know they did a study with the tribe in the middle of nowhere, basically, and they found that those people were actually happier than multimillionaires and super super wealthy people. And I think it was because of the relationships they had and the family and those types of things,
Yep.
So interesting.
Number 4, your obsession with finding happiness is what prevents its attainment.
I mean, it really comes down to happiness, Mike. I think people don't understand that happiness already exists and it can exist within them. And that comes down to being happy with yourself, being happy with the person that you are and happy within the place that you are. I get it. We all probably want more or want new and great things in our lives, and we are always in a constant state of becoming. We're always moving forward, but I think the reality is, like, people don't just sit around and be like, I'm really happy. Like, and they just, it goes back to the first one almost, and like you said, like, we take things for granted too many times, and it's like, look around you and realize how lucky you probably are in your life and feel that, really understand that happiness does exist. You just probably aren't looking for it and you're probably looking past it. So.
And it's a choice. That's the only thing that I would add to that is that we're all capable of happiness, but it is a choice on a daily basis when you wake up of, what, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be sad, be whatever you want, but just know that you own that.
Dude, that's 100% correct. It is a choice. It all is a choice, but it definitely, happiness is a choice. Being happy with who you are and where you are. So, next one is donating money does less than donating time.
I think that money comes and goes, but I think it truly shows how much you care when you actually give time to someone, because you can't get that time back. And we've talked about this in a previous podcast where Brian says, it's not like you're managing time. You can't get that back. You can only manage your personal self, like your personal management within that time. And I think that's very, very important. But, it probably would be easier if I had a ton of money to just give money to someone and be like, just go ahead, handle it. But if I legitimately take time out of my day and give you my time, like that precious, most important asset, like that truly shows that you care.
Yeah, I agree. Time is our greatest asset, and we can't get that back. And, I have no problem, writing checks to charity and things like that, and non-for-profit or helping people. Like, I think that's really cool, right? But, like, even just for a selfish reason, like, I'd love to donate my time to just see the impact that's actually.
It's more of like an intimate thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, number 6, you can't make everyone happy, and if you try, you'll lose yourself.
Man, oh man, I actually did a Facebook Live on this probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like, you can't help everyone. Like, it goes back to what Mike said. Happiness is a choice, right? You can't make everyone happy. If you will spend so much time investing yourself into that. They have to choose that for themselves. You can definitely do things to make people happier and get them excited, but at the end of the day, that's on them. It's at the end of the day, it's all on ourselves. But if you will lose yourself into it, we've all been into those relationships where it's like just draining, and it just becomes like, man, there's only so many times you could. Put the song and dance on for people to make them happy. It's like you're gonna just lose yourself, and you're gonna end up being miserable in the end.
Yeah, and I think what I would add to that is that really, you will lose yourself along the way, because the fact of life is some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you. Some people are going to agree with you, some people are not going to agree with you, but life goes on, and so should you.
Yep, exactly. I love this one. So, you can't be perfect, and holding yourself to unrealistic standards creates suffering. And
I'm really glad that I actually got this question too, because I really am, like I always say, we are our biggest critics. Like there's no coach or mentor or anyone that can be harder than I already am on myself. So sometimes I'm guilty of setting probably very unrealistic and lofty expectations that even if I do awesome, I still feel personally like I came up short because I was shooting for the stars. So, you know, for me, I personally have had to battle against that negative voice inside of being my biggest critic. And, you know, and I've had to battle that like on a daily basis to go out and achieve what it is I want in life. So again, you know, everyone is their biggest critic, but you have to give yourself credit sometimes too along the way and maybe lighten up on yourself a little bit.
I agree. We can't all, you know, imposter syndrome is a real thing. You know, we do sometimes come down on ourselves and doubt ourselves, but you can't, you know, you just can't. And you got to go out there and just take action and be happy and do what you need to do every single day.
Right. Number 8, your thoughts are less important than your feelings, and your feelings need acknowledgement.
I mean, your thoughts, I always go by the thought, your thoughts are your feelings and your feelings are your actions, right? I mean, but what I think this is like saying to me is vulnerability is courage, and sometimes I think people, when they feel weird about when they have to talk about feelings and things, and it's like, but people make decisions and do things mostly on emotion, you know, don't we? Like when someone tugs at your heartstrings, like, yeah, you're probably going to like feel inclined to go that way. Like you need to pay attention to that and you need to acknowledge it and you need to have that self-awareness towards your feelings.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm probably guilty of a majority of the stuff that we talk about. So this is just as good for me as it may be for you guys who are watching or listening. But like a lot of times I think about things and then like I already, since I already thought about it, I feel like I already expressed it, when in fact I didn't express it. You know, and expressing it is opening up those lines of communication to the people around you, which is going to better effectively communicate that to them and get your point across. So,
I agree. So your actions speak louder than your words, so you need to hold yourself accountable.
So
you get some good ones.
I know I'm getting all the good points. I mean, when you say that, when you say that, I think to myself, are you gonna talk about it, or are you gonna be about it? Okay, because I've been around a lot of people that like to talk about things, but they never take action. They never have any accountability, so nothing ever gets done. So really, I mean, it's fine to talk about it. Like you have to talk about it and develop that game plan, but nothing is going to get done, as we've talked about in previous podcasts, until you actually start taking action and hold yourself accountable, stop blaming others, and put that pressure on yourself that it's only going to get done if you put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, everything comes down to action, and you have to take action. I mean, it's exactly why Tony Robbins always says, take consistent, massive action. Successful people take consistent, massive action, and that's what it comes down to. And your actions 100% speak louder than your words.
I love that. Number 10, your achievements and successes will not matter when you're on your deathbed.
You know, I saw something the other day that said, you know, when you're on your deathbed, like, you know, you aren't thinking about all the money that you had. You aren't thinking about all the whatever you did, private jets, plane rides, travel. You're thinking about the relationships you've made and the people that you've touched or that you've loved or that have been special to you in your life. You're thinking about your family, most likely. And you know, I always say this in my talk. The comfort zone talk is like, I always ask people, like, who do you want to be like remembered for? Who do you want to be remembered for? Not like, you know. And I think that like that speaks more than like what were you like. If you look at any tombstone in any graveyard, it doesn't say, you know, had a private jet or was a multi-millionaire. Exactly. It says like loving father, you know, great brother, uncle, you know, sister, brother, like whatever it is, like that's what it comes down to. At the end of your life, like relationships matter, the people that you've made an impact with. So don't take that lightly. I think too many people do, and I think I don't want it to be overlooked, because that's what you're going to be thinking about at the end of your life.
Yeah, they're probably not. I mean, they may be talking about your accolades, but I think that they'll more than likely be probably talking about your character and like your integrity and stuff like that. You know, not you know, if you made $250,000 a year or whatnot. So
You know what? Actually, that's sort of a mini challenge. Is like, and I saw this from one of my good buddies, Dominic Cortuccio. He wrote he's a coach, and he wrote this blog post about writing your own eulogy. What are people
That's
gonna say
pretty
about
deep.
you, right?
That's pretty
I
intense.
know.
Wow.
So like once you see that and you write that about yourself, you're probably gonna be like, holy crap, like I need to live this now. Like what do you want people to say? Like I think that that's what matters at the end of the day. So.
I don't want people to read mine and say, Michael Stull, his left pec was bigger than his right pec. You know what I mean?
You're gonna be an animal lover because we all found that in
Yeah.
the last episode.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right. All right. Your talent means nothing without consistent effort and practice.
I made a note on my sheet. I think the first thing I think of with this is I think of Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan was extremely talented, but that, he got cut from varsity, played JV in high school or whatnot, but had he not put in the work, he wouldn't have been able to utilize that talent that he was, God-given talent that he was blessed with. So Jordan's the perfect example of if you really want to do something in your life, talent is really not enough. You have to execute, you have to put in the effort, you have to practice, and he was quoted as saying that he practiced so hard that the games often felt easier to him, and that's the kind of effort that it takes to take things to the next level. Or, God forbid, some of you that are extremely talented might be living in your parents' basement for the rest of your life, and we definitely don't want that, okay?
Yeah.
Even though the rent's cheap, get out your parents' basement.
No, I love that, man, and I think I always go back to like practice the way you play the way you practice, and somebody once told me like the difference between the professionals and the amateurs is the professionals always keep score, and they always
That's awesome.
push themselves and
'Cause
they
they're
keep
competitive.
score on how they're doing, how managing and seeing where they're elevating, where they need to get better, and I think that's just I love that one.
Yep, that's awesome. Number 12, now is the only time that matters, so stop wasting it by ruminating on the past or planning the future.
I mean, you can't go back and change the past. So stop living your life looking in the rearview mirror, and you can't predict the future. I mean, bottom line, that's
Yeah.
it. I mean, you are now. This is the time that matters. This is where you need to think about what you can do to look. The past is the past. That is gone. That is out of the way. It's lock it up. Forget about it. Like you can't even sit around and regret. I mean, people will have regrets, I think, but hopefully not, like, because you just got to let it go. You got to let it go because you can't live in the past. And what you can do is focus on now to create that better future. You need to be able to focus now. This time matters. What you do today matters for tomorrow. So if you focus on today, the time that you're in, then you will have a better outcome for the future.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. Well said.
Thank you, brother. Awesome. All right. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Nobody cares how difficult your life is, and you are the author of your life's story.
I love this one too because this point kind of got me thinking like what I want to read the story of. I'm going to speak in third person of Michael Stull. You know what I mean? Or what I want to read the story of Brian Benson, and that kind of like really sets the tone for me. Like, man, am I doing like epic shit with my life? Like, am I like pushing the boundaries? Am I disrupting things in a very good way? And there's a good quote that I like to use, and it's, stop telling people about your problems because 80% of those people probably don't give a shit, and the other 20% are probably glad that you have those problems. So I find it ironic that it says, and you are the author of your life story. I mean, I was inspired to write a book because I wanted to help people, and I wanted them to be better on all levels. So, yeah, I mean, this is an awesome question, and I think your immediate family, like your mom, your dad, maybe your brothers and sisters, they're okay with listening to your problems. But, the world is a crazy place. People have a lot of shit on their plate that they're trying to deal with, so you have to handle your business.
Yeah. Mike, I mean, I just love every point that you made, and I think it's so important. But one thing, this is so important for all those people that aren't putting things, their ideas or thoughts or creativity into action, because everybody's so worried about what other people are thinking, but like you said, nobody gives a shit. If you've ever played a sport, like an individual sport, like golf, for example. Like, I'm a terrible golfer, and so when I go out with people, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm playing so bad, I suck terribly, But then I'm always like, sorry guys, and everyone's going, I really don't care. I'm just trying to beat the course myself. Like, I
Yeah,
don't care what you're
yeah,
doing. I don't care if you shake the
yeah,
ball in the woods or where the heck you are. I'm just trying to play my own game.
yeah.
So that's how it is. That's the game of life too. It's like, it doesn't matter what other people are thinking. Like, you have to create your own story. This is your life, so who cares what other people think?
Yeah, I mean, you're a fool if you don't think that you are writing, the book to your life story right now. Every day you wake up, that's another page in the book. You know what I mean? So you gotta build that chapter by chapter by pursuing your dreams and working very, very hard at it.
Yeah, and just one more thing. Like, I wasn't trying to be rude when I say nobody cares. I'm just saying that, like, your close circle will care about your life, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of people that just, if you think that everybody's looking at you or they care what you're doing or if you show up to the party or not, like, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take care of your stuff first, or else you're not going to be able to help everyone else. Like, people say, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, try watering your own grass for once and see what happens. You know what I mean? Then you're going to really be able to help other people around you.
I love that, dude.
All right, number 14. Your words are more important than your thoughts, so start inspiring people. By the way, check out InspireLink.com. Brian Benson, CEO and founder.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. But this is so important, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't think this, you're crazy. And I'll just be very, very honest. Words matter. Words are huge. What comes out of your mouth, what you write on paper, what you text, what you do, that all matters. If you say I suck at this, if you say this person is that, these things matter. And if you're talking negative, like, let's just go to the self for 1 second, like, to inspire yourself. If you are talking negatively about yourself, I'm sorry, that is the way that you're going to think, and then that's the way you're going to act, that's the way you're going to feel. You got to start saying positive, inspiring things. And then when you're going out to other people, it's like, build somebody up, lift somebody up, say great things about people, compliment somebody. There's your challenge for this one. Go out and compliment somebody, like, on something that they're doing, something that they're wearing. Sometimes, say you went to a department store and somebody was very attentive to you and gave you good service, like, thank them for it. Like, say good things. Words matter more than you will ever know, because they can really hurt people, and it can hurt yourself more importantly.
Nothing to add on that one. Brian Benson on the mic, just killing it today.
All right, I love this one, Mike, and I know you're going to crush it. So, investing in yourself isn't selfish. It's the most worthwhile thing you can do.
I honestly think that not investing in yourself is selfish. And what I mean by that is you have the opportunity to inspire and motivate so many people that you cross paths with on a daily, basis while you're pursuing your dreams. So I like the quote that we have down here: you have to put on your own gas mask to save the person sitting right next to you. So again, it kind of goes back to what I said before, like, you need to water your own grass and own your attitude and choose your happiness, because again, you're going to cross paths with so many people, and it is your duty to be able to pay it forward and inspire and motivate the people around you. Investing in yourself could come in many different forms. I mean, you've talked about, like webinars and meditating, and I don't care what it is that you do to better yourself, it's not going to be for a waste.
Oh, man, I love it. Nothing to add there, bro. It is so important, though.
All right, number 16, it's not what happens, it's how you react that matters.
Man, this is the victim of your, don't be a victim of your circumstances. It's not what happens around us or even to us, it's what happens within us. And to me, that is so important, because there's going to be a circumstance, my friends. I learned this a long time ago. E plus R equals O. The event plus the reaction equals the outcome. And the only thing that we have control over is the reaction, is the way that we react to things that happen to us, my friends. And that is why it's so important to not worry about our circumstances. Some people care so much about that stuff. I'm telling you, you can do whatever you want. to have a better reaction to create the best outcome possible. And we've talked about this over and over, but I think that's so important is do not be a victim. Stop complaining. Check out thecomplainproject.com. And well, wait, this is our podcast. So stop being a victim of your circumstances for real. React and take action on the things so you can have the best outcome.
Yeah, you can't really control actually what happens, but you definitely can control the way that you react and you respond, no doubt about it.
Yes, definitely, bro. All right, you need to improve your relationships to have lasting happiness.
I think Brian actually chose which questions and points I get too, because this stuff is like burning my ears when he says this. I'm like, are you calling me out live on the air, dude? Seriously, what does he have against me on this? Anyways, I might have pissed him off for something. This one I actually can say that I'm very guilty of, because I've been so focused on, climbing the ladder and just trying to get better and getting that next accolade at times and all the way down the line that, or maybe getting that raise, or maybe even defining myself by what my actual job is. I've been guilty of that in the past, but I obviously know that, when you put in that effort into the relationships and whatnot, that is going to give you more happiness. Like those emotions that you get from putting, energy into bettering your relationships, the love, the happiness, all that stuff, that's only going to add greater value to your life. You know what I mean? And really, like, probably not all, but I would say some of the most unhappy, lonely people could possibly be those people that are filthy rich, but live a lonely life because they haven't invested in the relationships around them. They don't have anyone to share it with, or anything like that. So you could live a really lonely life if you're at the top. I'm not saying that's how it is for everyone. I'm sure there's a lot of successful people that have everything but also have awesome relationships, but that's just something to keep in mind, that the relationships do matter around you.
I love that, Mike, and everything, and I love that last thing you just said, and that's what I was going to add, is just people matter. People matter, and take care of the people that are in your life and build true, genuine, authentic relationships, and it'll change your life. I can promise you that.
Yeah, I love that. All right, number 18, pleasure is temporary and fleeting, so stop chasing fireworks and start building a constellation.
Oh, man. Maybe you're speaking to me now. I'm like shiny object syndrome over here. Like, I want instant gratification. Oh my God. But I think a lot of people are that way. A lot of people are like, wait, we've been doing this podcast 14 episodes. What do you mean we don't have 1 million people watching us? Like, play the long game in life. Like, especially if it's something that you're truly passionate about and truly care about and truly want. You got to understand that the more you delay that gratification, all the groundwork and hard work you put in there, the more the pleasure will last that much longer. Mm-hmm. Instant pleasure is it feels good, but it will be like instant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
instantly there and instantly gone.
Instantly there, instantly gone. Exactly. It's like. So work hard for the things that you want and bring that long-term pleasure to yourself. Play the long game. It's very, very important. I mean, Gary Vee always says it and things, but I just think it's so true. It's like, you know what this is? Enjoy the journey. You just have to enjoy the journey. Like, at the end of the day, you'll reap all the benefits of your hard work, and it will be the most pleasurable experience of your life. But just don't. If you start chasing fireworks like this says, right away that you want everything right now, I mean, it's not going to be as gratifying in the end. I think that if I gave you $1 billion and gave you everything that you absolutely wanted right now, then where's the purpose? Where's the purpose of your life? I think you lose the purpose, and I think everybody needs a purpose.
Yeah. Yep. So, I love it.
That's me. So, all right. God, Mike. All right. Your ambition means nothing without execution. It's time to put in the work.
So I'm going to quote Brian Benson on this one, and literally, you guys, for those that are watching and listening, Brian probably texts me about 20 times a day, and he says, bro, we need to execute, bro. We need to crush it. We need to crush it. We need to execute. And so I'm bringing that up because, I'm going to use our podcast as an example. Brian and I, we kind of kicked the idea of this podcast around for quite some time. In fact, Brian was probably more gung-ho about it at first than what I was, and then like we kind of faded off on it, and then I came back guns a-blazing and was like, dude, let's do this podcast. So now what we're trying to do is we're just trying to execute. Like, we're on episode 14. Eventually we're going to be on episode 50, but it's all about executing and putting out your content and being consistent with that and putting in the work, okay? The actual, everyone wants a shortcut, but the real shortcut is actually doing the work, period. That's all I got to say about that.
Oh, man, I just love that, Mike. That was awesome. You got to put in the work, ladies and gentlemen. You have to.
All right, number 20. I would say it in Spanish, but I forget all that I learned. Time is your most valuable asset. You need to prioritize how you spend it, mother lover.
Oh, man, I'm telling you right now, we already did kind of go into this, and a lot of these came down to, like, the time that we have here, because if you go back to the very first one, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to die, and you have no idea when. That's why time is so valuable. The one thing I do disagree on this, and I'll say it because I just think it's not prioritizing your time, it's prioritizing yourself with the time that you have. And I have to debunk the time management. I know so many people write books about it, I know so many people talk about it, I know there's a lot of people that say time management, but I'm telling you, this right here is time is your most valuable asset. So manage yourself correctly in the way that you do things, the way that you're putting yourself forward, the way that you execute on your dreams, the way that you are doing everything in your life with relationships, with your health, with your life. I mean, it is so, so important with your business. Everything is so, so important, guys. I can't even, I don't want people to waste your time because I mean, we could go back to that one example back in the day that we talked about where it was like when you're sitting there 90 years old and your grandkids and kids and people who you love in your life ask you to tell a story or tell something that you've done. I mean, you're going to want to say what you did with your time on this earth. And that's just plain and simple, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, so the only thing I would add personally to that is every action that you take is going to have a result. So know that. So that's why you need to take it serious and choose wisely on what you decide to do with your life.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was a bit brutal. I'm sorry. And, but we saw this article, Matthew Jones again from Inc.com, and we saw this and we just got inspired by it because we felt, hey, look, this is really great information. This is awesome stuff. We love to invest, learn, teach. We ILT here on the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast. So, this just really got Mike and I fired up and pretty pumped up. So we were really glad to share it. I know it seemed like it felt pretty harsh, but at the same time, it's something that I think can inspire you to really do this. And that's our challenge, is to admit one of these brutal truths that we talked about, one of these 20 brutal truths, and turn it around. I mean, you have 20 of them here. There's probably something in your life where you could find more happiness, where you can build better relationships, you can create more wealth, you can, don't be perfect, take action, execute all those things that we said. Do something. That's your challenge, is admit a brutal truth and turn it around.
All right.
And time for the health tip, baby. Let's
for the health tip.
Shirt staying on today. You know that for that one.
For the health tip is a big thing that people are really concerned about right now is everyone's using artificial sweeteners, okay? People are thinking, I need to go sugar-free, so I'm going to ditch the real sugar, and I'm going to go to an artificial sweetener. So here's the deal with artificial sweeteners, is the research shows that people that ingest a lot of artificial sweeteners, you probably are gassy and bloated, you might have some diarrhea. Look on the side of a protein bar that's sugar-free. If you look in the fine print, it'll say excessive consumption may have a laxative effect. Okay, so, just before this podcast, I walked past the bathroom and I heard something. I thought, yeah, I think Brian had a lot of artificial sweeteners. Sounded like a bomb was exploding in there. But no, when I put the artificial sweeteners on a totem pole, At the very bottom is aspartame, okay? And I believe that's the blue packet, equal, okay? Aspartame has been proven to be very, very toxic for the body. Not a good thing long term. Next in line is the yellow packet, which is Splenda, aka sucralose. What sucralose is actually two sugar molecules blended together by chlorine. So when I go and I speak to groups, I ask them, I go, what do we clean our pools with here in Florida? And everyone's like, oh, chlorine, chlorine. I'm like, okay, chlorine attaches those together. Excessive consumption of sucralose is going to kill all the bacteria in your stomach, especially your small intestine, which is not a good thing. So if you're a heavy Splenda user, I encourage you to take probiotics. You should be taking those anyways. And then next in line, which is probably the best artificial sweetener, is stevia, aka Truvia, is the brand. That comes from a plant, so it's not as processed as much, but it's not as sweet. A lot of people do not like stevia because it's not as sweet as Splenda. Splenda, to most people, tastes better. Stevia takes some getting used to, but I would recommend if you do use artificial sweeteners to use stevia extract. You can put it in your coffee, you can put it in your organic Greek yogurt or whatever you want to use it for to sweeten. You know, a lot of time I'm at a point in my life where I'm looking for longevity. We're looking for anti-inflammation, antioxidant. I almost would rather just use a little bit of real sugar every once in a while than actually go the artificial sweetener route, because again, we're finding out the bacteria within your stomach is very, very important. And artificial sweeteners are actually affecting, in a bad way, the microbiome environment within your stomach. So again, stevia sparingly if you want on occasion. Sometimes you might be better off just using some real sugar. Obviously, we want to avoid sugar at all costs, but everything in moderation, people.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. We love you guys so much. A Facebook Live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. We are going to be on episode 15 next time. I can't even believe it. All right. Hey, we'll see you all on the next episode.